Omar.
And Kellz.
And you're watching The Need to Know. Today, of course, we don't got Reed, but that's because today is a guys talk. You know, my man Kellz here, aka Reed's me. But yeah, today we're doing a guys talk. We're talking basically about a small topic that I actually saw on Instagram. It was basically like how guys are seen to like have to treat women. Not saying they have to, but like it's more known that like guys give money for hair. If she need help, like we give the money, but like when it comes to us, like if we need a haircut, or if we need something, like we don't get the same treatment. So alright, so what do you think about like the norm of how like we have to, not that we have to, but like why is it that we are always seen to do things for them? Money wise, but we don't get the same love back.
Yeah, basically this go back to like, I guess, I don't know what age to call it, but like our ancestors and all that, from how I guess the men was taught to treat the woman. I mean, mostly, especially in like the, I guess, black popularity. Like our men grew up with single moms and all of that for so long that they were used to the, I'm guessing, the treatment. Most men are so used to seeing one lady and how that one lady grew them up or groomed them from young. And most of these things are things that black mothers, not even black mothers, let me not even specify it, but mothers, single mothers in general, like they push onto their sons because they see the trouble that their father or the mate put them through throughout all these years. So I guess they try to teach their son not to do things.
I mean, I grew up with a single mom, so I guess like my level of respect for women was enhanced because of that. But I don't know, like sometimes like I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like when I'm getting a haircut, because nowadays like haircuts be like 20, 30. Like, it's raising prices and it's like,
a sheep up is like $15.
$15, bro. Like yo, back then it used to be like $5. And like
you know how much it take to get a girl hair done? Like we
got
more hair than y'all.
That's the point that we trying to make.
That's what I'm saying. Like we give y'all the money sometimes. Not saying every time. Like most times y'all pay for it, but it's like once in a while we be like, yo, here's $200. Like get your hair done, get your nails or something. But it's like when it comes for us, like it's always seems like we gotta do it. Like I've never experienced like one time where a girl gave me money for my haircut. And I'm not saying y'all have to, but it's like.
Did you ask?
But what about the ask though?
That's the point you're trying to make. You're trying to say like
y'all don't
when y'all need it done.
What you mean? I would ask. I would be like, yo, I want to get my hair done. Is this amount of money? Like what?
That's what I'm saying. Like we willing to provide it for y'all if y'all need. I'm not saying y'all need it because it's like I'm pretty sure y'all could provide for yourselves, but it's like once in a while, like we be like, yo, here's $200. But it's like I've never seen it.
I feel like they think it's like pocket change and shit. Well, me, I don't do haircuts no more. So my shit is $80
Your
a
hair
buck.
just, you know how to get my hair done. So
Yeah, my shit right now, because I got dreads and shit, it's like the same amount. We so used to that. We so used to growing up on that $5, $10 haircuts. It's like now that you got older and shit changed, it's like damn. At least one haircut you could be like, yo, look, hold this, I got you.
Yeah, like I don't mind like you don't give me money because I'm like. I feel like as a man, you can be the provider. Not saying that women can't do it, because you know times will change. Where like you know they're independent, and, like they can do for their own,
and they want to do for their own.
Yeah, and they want to do it for their own. But it's like I don't know. Once in a while, like let me get treated, son. Like you know what I'm saying? Like give me a massage or something. Like yeah, like you could buy me some food once in a while. Like my girl does it sometimes, but it's like in terms of like the haircuts, like bro, my haircut right now costs like $30. I'm like, I gotta pay every 2 weeks, bro. Like that's a bill, bro. Like let me get $30.
Yo, that's a bill.
So you spend $100 on a haircut every month.
Alright, so I guess I'll move into a topic that you brought up. You saying how like men grew up, or most men, especially in the black community, like we grew up with like single moms.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like times are changing now, or like the cycle is still happening, where like men are running out?
It depends on the type of guy, I guess. Nowadays, like in our generation, I'm seeing more like, I mean, especially now because we got a lot of young fathers. Like I'm seeing a lot of guys like step up and actually beat it for their kid or their kids. Nowadays it's different. It's like I feel it's more the women that be the like same. It depends on the type of women, but it be mostly the women that be trying to keep the men away from the kid or use the kid as like a tool to get back at the man. Like depending on how their fling or whatever the case ended. So I feel like it'd be mostly that. But I see most guys taking care of their kids now, especially like celebrity men. Like they stepping up and being that figure that I guess they should be.
I feel like the perception of men kind of got misguided. Because like if you think about like fathers back then, most of them, it's not that they didn't want to be there for their kid. It's just times was tough.
They didn't have a lot.
So like, yeah. So like, the only way they knew how to provide was like, you know, either selling on the streets or like being on the streets most times, and then, you know, they would get caught up, get incarcerated, and it's like now they can't be there for their kid even though they want to, because their whole purpose of being on the streets was to provide for their family. So it's like, even though like guys, you know, because we grew up with single moms, like we have respect for our mothers and women, it's like we never knew what it was like to be a man because our father wasn't there to teach us that. So it's like now we have to learn on our own, and that's where like we kind of make those mistakes. I'm not trying to justify like a guy running out with his kid and everything, but like it's hard when it's like you can't think like on what's right when it's like all you knew was wrong. So, but I do feel like times are changing too. Like I do see a lot where like guys are like wanting to be there for the kid. Like there's certain instances where like the woman will be like, nah, you're not seeing your kid because you did this, or like because you cheated. And it's like, I understand, like I get it, like you mad at him for what he did to you, but it's like you don't like that. Yeah, that had nothing to do with the kid though. Like you can't take a man child away from him, because just like it's yours, it's his too. I feel like that topic is touchy because like a lot of people, of course your kid is like that equal boundary, like you both love them, but it's like when it comes to who the kid stays with or who the child sees more, it's always like they always gonna go to the mother, because I feel like the mother has an emotional attachment to the kid versus the father. Cause don't do that face, cause yo,
because you feel me, she carried the kid for 9 months, so
yeah.
It's like the baby, I guess the connection with the mom and the child is different.
Nah, I understand what you said. That's not why I made that face, but continue.
Oh, I'm about to say like, yo,
no, that's not why I made that face.
I know there's some fathers out there that like they don't feel. Of course they love their kid, they connected with the kid, but like they don't feel that bond because you didn't carry it for 9 months. Like you didn't birth it.
I mean,
was in pain for like days and shit. So.
But like the connection always gonna be different because there's some motherly connection. Like she's always gonna be that nurturing person. Like she's just naturally that person.
Yeah,
nah, but this father that's more nurturing than.
Yes, but they grow to do that. They adapt to that. Like that's something that they adapt to.
Mothers adapt to being.
But it's a natural instinct for them. Like if you have a kid, you're gonna naturally wanna nurture them. They might not want to, but you're gonna naturally do that. You know.
So men don't naturally do that.
What? Nah.
So the same way a man adapts to nurturing their child, you don't think a woman
their adaptation
adapts?
is different though.
How? Because
they
had the child?
Huh?
Because the women legit had the child?
No, it's not because of that. It's just.
There's women that have children and don't give a fuck about the
No, and that's what I just said. I was like, some people it comes naturally, and some people they just choose not to do it. Like, but in some shape, way, or form, they're still gonna naturally be like, okay, this is my child. I'm still gonna fight for my child. Continue.
I feel like a man could be nurturing too. Like,
yes, but over time.
You can't say over time, cause a man can see his child the first day.
Yes,
and be like,
that connection.
Yeah, and it's over from then. He's the most nurturing person in the world. And he could be somebody that didn't give a fuck about taking care of people for years, and then he had his first child, and boom, his whole life changed because of that. Now,
I didn't agree or
now
disagree.
the naturalness just comes out from that, from him having that kid.
I mean, more times than not, it's gonna be the mother. I get that. It's like,
yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, you feel me? Because mothers have that natural instinct to take care, or women have that natural instinct to take care of whatever it is.
I didn't agree or disagree with you. I just said that was just
Now
my
we always trying to
take on it. Like,
clarify.
that was just my take on it. I was just like, damn, that was funny.
There's we know that a lot of black men, they don't like to take care of the kids. They just like to have sex, move on. But there's actual black men that, you feel me, they do what they do, they have a kid, and they put it forward that this is their duty for the rest of their life, because circumstances and situations put them where they can't take care of that kid fully, or whatever the case may be. And like, you see how he was like, so they do bad and they get locked up, and then now the mother is left with the kid. I feel like the system is naturally built to break up the black home. Like, no funny, they be mad white people that be out here selling like the craziest of drugs, and you would never hear about it. But then they run up on a corner where they got a black man who just had a kid, you feel me, can't get a job because whatever his situation is, so he go to the only other resort that he know, and he's feeding his family. You take that now the mother gotta struggle. She gotta worry about feeding her son or her daughter or her kids. She also gotta worry about feeding her husband in jail. She gotta worry about how she getting to work. She gotta worry about how her kids is studying in school. You feel me? So all that breaks it, all that causes stress. The little conversations that they having on whatever call, it's like it turns into arguments. That argument turns into screaming at the kids. That turns into kids doing bad in school. So now the whole cycle just repeats in itself, because now when the kids grow up and I guess they doing bad in school, they resort back to the same thing their pops was doing, or probably worse. You feel me? Fighting to find whatever job or whatever case may be.
I agree. I mean, like, a lot of times you see like on the news or social media, it's always like, oh, black man got arrested for weed or something. And mind you, it's like when you say like the white people, they be doing like LSD and like heroin, all that, and like you never hear about them going to jail. Like, and so even though I understand, like, of course, you know, like, you can't be selling drugs, period, but it's like if you constantly showing on the news that like a black man's going to jail for this, it's like eventually that's just gonna run in our minds. Like, that's all we know. And so like even to some degree, like, there'd be some guys that like don't sell drugs or anything, like they just be hanging with their boy, and they boys start selling. Next you know, we all get caught up. And it's like I didn't even want to be part of this, and now if I had a kid, like, now that kid has to grow up without me. I do agree. I feel like that cycle does happen like very often. There's like a few times where like, you know, a child grows up without his father, and like he learns from that and like doesn't want to go down that path, and like focuses on school or like makes a better life for himself. But even then, like, just living in America alone, like, just the color of your skin could put you in so much like trouble that even if you try to do good for yourself, like, you'll always get caught up in the system. So there's few black men like that make it, like, that never go to jail, like they take care of their family, but it's like it's so hard, like, trying to avoid, you know, police or like America as a whole, and it's like you always have a target on your back.
That's like speaking of that, like, I was watching Kevin Hart his docu-series. His situation is like, it's similar to what we're talking about, but like how he came about it, or came up out of it, like, it was, I don't want to say inspiring, but like you look at things differently. Like, so like he grew up with both his moms and his dad, but his dad was on drugs like half of his early life. I guess that took a toll on the family, so him and mom split up. He was like, his brother, I'm guessing, like, I don't know because his brother's older if that affected him, but he was like, his brother was in the streets and all that. Like, he was like selling drugs, doing all these things, and his mom used to talk to him. And she was like, one day she got like fed up. He did something and she got tired of it and gave him emancipation. From there, he was on his own. But he was like, ever since that day, she was on him harder than she was on her brother because she didn't want him to turn out like that or whatever the case may be. Like, that's also things that go through in the black family. Like, when, I don't want to say the father is at fault, but like most times when fathers in situations like that and the kids take upon, like, the younger kid is gonna get the more, I guess, heat from it because now the mother being single, she felt like she didn't feel, but she didn't get, I guess, the first child to that, not outstanding, but to that point where it's like they could move forward in life without going through these obstacles that the father went through or anybody in the family, in the past family went through. So it's like they, I'm guessing, I don't want to say more strict because they're all more strict, but it's just more work for them.
That happens. Like, I grew up with a single mom and like, my father was never around, but like, he loved smoking and like drinking. So like, I remember when I turned 21, I knew for sure like I wanted to go out and get drinks, like get drunk. But like my mom was like heavy on me, like, yo, do not drink, like you know what your father did. Like, and my father passed away because of it. So it was like, it was even worse. She was like, yo, do not drink, like you could at most have champagne, which is like, that's baby drinks. But it was like, she was just so hard on me just cause like she had to like raise 3 kids without him because of what he was doing. So it was like, she didn't want her kids to turn, which I understand, like I get it. Like I don't want you to think like I'm just out here drinking all the time. But it's like, I understand her mentality when it comes to, you know, like alcohol, because I'm pretty sure she knows like, I'm not gonna be him, but at the same time, every time she sees me drink, she sees him. So it's like, she doesn't want that to happen to me in a sense. So I get that.
Now speaking of that too, like my fault.
Yo, he gotta answer for everything he said.
Nah, no funny though, but like you see, like when he was like, oh, how she had to deal with raising 3 kids because of the things that, for me, that he was doing. When she look at him, she see his pops sometimes. Like that be it too. Like when it comes to like families and the breakup with the moms and the dads and the kids being like the pawn of the whole situation. It'd be like they go through whatever situation, they hate each other, they don't care about each other no more, but they have that kid. And it's like, they see the other parent in that kid, so now most times, like, depending on the family, depending on how crazy the family is, like, they take it out on the kid, you feel me? So now the kid has to live with this extra load that he didn't even, you feel me, want to be a part of or asked to be in, and now he's in a fight between, you feel me, 2 parents, and that be another crazy thing that be going on.
It's unfair. I get where it comes from, but like it's unfair to the child considering like he didn't ask to be part of that. And I feel like a lot of times, I remember when I was younger, I used to say stuff like that and I'll get slapped. Oh, I didn't ask to come here, like I didn't ask to be part of this world. And it's like, you get slapped, it's like that's your mom's. But at the same time, like it weighs heavy on the child when like the parents are constantly arguing, like there's no unity at all. And it's like, as a child, you feel like, all right, I'm basically by myself. Because my mom, you feel like your mom don't love you at times because she has so much hatred in her, in the, you know, partner. And then it's like you barely get to see your father, and then when you see him, he's like, oh, go back to your mother. Like, tell your mother this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you just feel like, all right, I gotta do this myself. Which, I mean, it could be a bad thing, but it's also a good thing, because it, in a positive sense, like, it makes you see, okay, like, when I have a wife or when I have a kid, like, I don't want this to happen. So I'm gonna make sure I do everything different. But at the same time, like, it could have a negative effect because that's all you know. So that when you get older, it's like,
repetitive. I want you to say that they get so used to it, like shit, that argumentative style can become repetitive and they carry it out throughout life. So it could be any situation. They so used to seeing that, you feel me, back and forth. You feel me? Anything that they do, like it could be a good thing too, because they could take that argumentative thing into whatever career that they doing. But then it could also bring problems, because it could be something so small as to like a bump or push or a tap or whatever little thing, and they blow it out of proportion, and now they in a bigger situation that they should supposed to be. It's mental wear and tear, but it's like you live and you learn from it at the same time.
I was like, this is when you were talking about something, I can't remember, but I was like, how do you guys feel about child support? I think I said this about on a different show, but I was like, I don't believe in that.
It's built to bring the black man down.
I don't. I mean, personally for me, I know I'm gonna be involved in my kid's life, so I'm not even worried about it. But I feel like I was actually talking about this with somebody else before. I feel like the government shouldn't get involved with like family, for example. Like I understand government is needed to, you know, maintain control and all that. But it's like when it comes to a man and his kid, like you should never like put a boundary between that, or like even to a lesser degree, like occasional visits.
They always get involved.
No.
They get involved if you beat your kid. They get involved in every
Yeah,
little
that's
thing.
what
Like,
But
that's still the city and the government getting involved.
Yeah,
like,
but that's the thing. Like I'm not justifying like beating your kid, but I'm like,
no.
like when I was growing up, I got beat. You know what I'm saying? But it's not because like I hated my kid. Like I knew like when I was getting beat, it's not because my mom hated me or something. It was more like I was being bad, and it's like I was being disciplined.
They beat you like they beat you.
So it's like that's why I'm like I feel like the government should never get involved. Like if a man beat his child, he's not beating it out of hatred. He's beating it out of love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like the whole child support. Like what's the point of putting a man on child support? Like he's just giving money to the kid. Like I feel like that's not love. You know what I'm saying? Like you should never force a man to be in his child's life. Like if he don't want to be in the child's life, he don't want to be in the child's life. I think.
But that's not forcing him to be in a child life. You just gotta pay the money to take care of the kid.
Yeah,
that's what that's for.
But still, that's still forced though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna say this though. Don't listen to society. If your kids is wilding, beat the shit out of them. But not legit, but beat your kids. But nah, I feel like child support, like I said, it's a little coy to bring the black man down. But if you are like, if you have a kid and you not taking care, like you a legit deadbeat, then yeah, I feel like you should pay child support, because one, you had the kid. Again, the kid didn't ask to come here, so you making this kid struggle because of what you feel is a mistake isn't right. But like, there's a lot of men that's on child support right now who take care of their kids every day, with their kids every day. Women use child support to get back at men too, because they be like, oh, I guess whatever situation. Most time they don't even give the kid the money. They be using it for themselves. All these little women in our generation who be buying in bundles. Stop it, feed your child. But yeah, child support, I don't think child support is bad for those who don't take care of their kid like at all. But yeah, if you abusing it just to get money or to reap the benefits of it, then I don't think it's a good thing.
So do you feel like if women was to like bring the same effort in terms of like treating her man, do you feel like things would change in terms of like a man wanting to be there?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of women who not even take it, but like shower their man. That shit don't even mean that shit to the most niggas. There's niggas that like those things they care about, like yeah. But there's other niggas who just ain't shit, like don't give a fuck. And you could do whatever that it is, and they will go and move on to the next. Whoever it is that's doing the same for them, like that's something they feed off of mostly. But if y'all do start doing it, y'all probably will get a lot of better feedbacks, because I guess the same thing I'll be like is the little things. You For me, it's the little shit like that. Like a nigga doing shit for you, doing shit for you, doing shit for you. And then he see that you take the time out to come back and I guess, I don't want to make it seem like some weird shit, but like clean his room or, you feel me, buy him some food unexpectedly, like some shit like that. He hit you up on something like, wow, babe, like, word, this is what you're doing. Alright, I see. And then you feel me? You never know the type of person he is, you feel me? If he's some nigga that shower you with gifts all the time, your gifts gonna be even better because of that, you feel me? So like, you think about shit like that also.
I don't know, I feel like there are women out there that like shower their man. I'll say mine does. I don't know, it's like at the same time, well no, you know what I would say, I feel like showering somebody, you can't expect them to love you back. Like I feel like you can't make it seem like, oh, because I showered him, like, oh, he's gonna fall in love with me, or he's gonna want to be with me even more. Because that should be there from the jump. Like the showering should be like extra or like a bonus. So
that thing only gets you because you showered him.
Nah, that's all I just said.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, like some girls, like for me, you could do whatever. You could shower the nigga, you could do this, you could buy the nigga a PS5 and the nigga won't give a fuck. Like, you feel me? He would take that PS5 to the salvage crib, he would play that shit, he would get his shit, he would go back and then he'd come back and leave with you like it wouldn't do. For me, females are like that too. Females are worse, but you just talking about homies right now.
I don't know, I feel like showering a guy, I'm not saying it's needed. Like I don't need you to shower me for me to love you. But you know, like once in a while it'd be nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I wake up,
A little gesture.
I see my cash app with like 100. Like, oh, or like if some new J's come on, like, yo, I got you. Like, I'm gonna get it. It's like,
See a little note next to breakfast, this for your haircut.
yeah, like I would like that. I'm not saying I don't get that now. I'm just saying like it'd be nice if more men could get treated too. Alright, so update. By the time this episode drops, the giveaway already happened. So if you missed out, too bad. You know what I'm saying? If y'all get us to 500 subscribers, we'll have another one. If you missed out on this one, make sure to share with your friends so that we could get to 500 so that you could get in. The 4-year special is coming up. So if you want to be on the panel, hit us up. Y'all can comment down below. Y'all could DM us. Y'all could email. I don't know how y'all communicate. Oh, also Reed's book is still out. Y'all could, buy it. You know what I'm saying? Barnes and Noble. What's that?
Everywhere.
Huh? Yeah, it's everywhere. Just look it up. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna pop up. Oh, you can say like where they can find you on social media.
Follow me, social media, Kellz _all the way, everywhere.
Y'all can find me on Instagram and Twitter _ we want more. And make sure to follow the show's page on Instagram and Twitter at TNTK Show. As always, thank you for watching the show.
That's all you need to know.